been CrossFitting a year and a half now. It was actually Thanksgiving of, what would it be, 2010 is the first time I did it. Ruined my Thanksgiving dinner. I did a Fran with burpee workout, didn't know what I was doing. They threw me into the mix, and about 3 hours later I finally felt well, and I'm hooked ever since. So.
Do you have an athletic background?
I do. I played high school sports like most, and an unfortunate situation with my back. I had a staph infection in my spinal cord, became paralyzed. Bar 3 had a staph infection, and it basically got into my spinal cord. It first started as a pea size, and then grew to about roughly a grape size, cut the spine in half. But going back, nobody knew what was happening. I was gradually having pains. I couldn't even get into my stance, and I was fighting through the season. And eventually, it was the 4th game in. I just basically laid on the practice field, and I couldn't really move. And I knew something was seriously wrong. I never really sat out of a practice or had any issues physically, so I ended up that night telling my mom and dad there's something seriously wrong. And the next day, I became gradually sicker. Went to the doctor. They said it was a pinched nerve, and when I got home, I called my dad back up and said, "You need to get to me hospital now. For whatever reason, I believe I'm dying."
Yeah.
And I don't know why I said it. I had no indication of such from the doctors. By the time I got back, I had 104 fever, and obviously I was, I had a raging infection that they couldn't figure out what. So it took about a week later for them to really diagnose me. Went through complete and utter hell. Basically wanted to die, and I told my mom as such, and lost all feeling in my legs, was completely paralyzed from the waist down. Surgery happens, and I've got a nice zipper in my back, about 7 inches long. They came in from the back and actually performed the surgery on the front side of the spine, and now my spine floats. So, first of all, it's miraculous that I even walked or lived, and I had a 90% chance of never walking again. And so I conquered that. About a year and a half recovery before I started really feeling better. Lost 50 pounds. You know, it was a traumatic experience. But I believe I'm stronger because of it. And everything happens for a reason. You know, maybe if it continued that way, my life would have went in a different direction. Maybe I wouldn't have went to where I always think of the what ifs in the world and things you can't necessarily control. But it happens for a reason. I maybe never would have met my wife. I met her in college. If I went to play football somewhere else, or had done something. So whatever reason, there's a path in your life, and I think we're just I'm just blessed to be able to wake up every day, see my kids, see my wife, and be able to do CrossFit.